The stories start with a narration that delves into the origins of humanity and witches. It is said that God created humans alongside witches and bestowed his power upon these witches. God tasked the witches with guiding the powerless humans, and in the spirit of friendship, the witches agreed to help humanity. However, this once strong friendship has crumbled in the present day. Humans have developed a deep-seated hatred for witches and have started to mercilessly hunt them down, seeking their complete eradication for reasons shrouded in mystery. This hostile behavior has sparked anger and resentment among the witches, who wish ill upon the humans. In the outskirts of Redia Empire, a young human boy named Adonis embarks on a journey with his mentor and companion, Chloe. Chloe is a witch, and as they've traveled a considerable distance, Adonis begins to feel pain in his legs. Annoyed, Adonis turns to her and questions if she's even listening to him. Chloe urges him to silence, as she is preoccupied with determining their exact location. Unfortunately, she struggles to do so. Frustrated by Chloe's inability to pinpoint their location, Adonis wonders aloud why she doesn't use her magic to find it instead of wasting time. Chloe, however, is determined to conserve her magical energy and opts to rely on a map. She firmly warns Adonis to stop complaining. While Chloe scrutinizes the map in an attempt to discern their whereabouts, Adonis discreetly uses his smartphone to determine their location. When he proudly announces that he has located them, Chloe turns to see him using the device. She reacts angrily, scolding him for employing this strange machine, which could potentially lead their pursuers to them. Adonis clarifies that the device he used is called a smartphone, and he constructed it himself, ensuring that it is untraceable by their enemies. He dismisses the use of a traditional map in this day, an age as outdated, and promises to make a smartphone for Chloe in the future. However, she interprets this as an insult and delivers a forceful blow to his head. Now that they have finally identified their location, Chloe instructs Adonis to get up. However, at this moment, Adonis becomes increasingly frustrated by the constant need to flee from their pursuers. In response, Chloe reveals her identity as a witch and explains that the deep-seated hatred humans hold against witches leaves her with no choice but to run from them. Chloe goes on to clarify that blending into human cities and residing far from human towns has made her more of a ninja than a witch. She attempts to inject some humor into the situation by framing it as a joke, but Adonis doesn't seem to find it amusing. Observing his lack of amusement, Chloe taps him gently and urges them to continue their journey. She sternly instructs him not to speak until they've crossed the border, emphasizing the need to find a place where witches are tolerated, allowing them to reclaim a peaceful and content life. Chloe also reveals that they must find a school for Adonis to attend, enabling him to live more freely. However, Adonis immediately contradicts her, reminding her of her own directive not to speak until they've crossed the border. Angrily, he asserts that he doesn't care about school and would rather continue his studies under her tutelage. Oddly, Chloe interprets this as a declaration of affection from Adonis, assuming that he is attracted to women like her. Adonis loudly protests, vehemently denying any romantic interest in her. Seeing Chloe so elated by this misinterpretation, Adonis wonders how she can remain so cheerful and unfazed. He openly expresses his deep loathing for the Redia Empire, primarily due to their hostility towards witches. In his frustration, Adonis contemplates using magic to eradicate all humans. At this point, Chloe snaps back to reality and asks Adonis to repeat what he just said. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of some soldiers, who approach them with great speed. Upon spotting Chloe, the soldiers prepare for an attack. Adonis steps forward to shield Chloe, but she intervenes, stating that he lacks the experience for combat. Instead, she takes the lead in protecting him, employing her ice magic to freeze all the soldiers, leaving them encased in ice cubes. In the palace, Emperor Goth of the Redia Empire receives news of his soldiers' failure to capture the witch Chloe. The report reveals that Chloe is a high-ranking witch who wields powerful magic and had thwarted the squadron sent to apprehend her. Before the messenger can finish his report, he is abruptly silenced by the Emperor's guards, who bring him to the ground. However, Emperor Goth intervenes, ordering the man to bring Chloe directly to him. He is determined to ensure that Chloe does not escape. Meanwhile, back with the soldiers frozen in ice, Chloe calls on Adonis, urging him to continue their journey. Adonis is upset with her for not allowing him to take any action. He expresses his frustration, claiming that he could have handled the soldiers on his own if given the chance. Angrily, he questions why he should bother studying magic if he isn't allowed to use it. Chloe explains that he lacks experience with magic, but Adonis disagrees. To prove his point, he summons a large sword, asserting that a student of hers cannot be inexperienced. When Chloe ignores his protests, Adonis accuses her of preventing him from fighting against humans because he is human like the soldiers. He believes that she refrains from using her magic to protect humans despite their mistreatment of her. He notices her suppressing her emotions to avoid confrontation with humans and not allowing him to fight them. He confesses that he can't bear the thought of not being able to protect her any longer, which brings him to tears. Upon hearing Adonis's heartfelt confession, Chloe rushes to him and embraces him tightly as they share a moment of comfort. Meanwhile, one of the soldiers encased in ice reveals that he has synchronized their location. Without delay, Chloe and Adonis begin to float in midair, leaving Adonis bewildered. Chloe, on the other hand, seems to understand what's happening and is amazed that the humans have achieved what she referred to as a long-distance physical transfer system, a feat not even the witches have accomplished. They continue to float upward, holding each other's hands, and make a promise to stay together no matter what. Unbeknownst to them, this transfer system is based in space, and it is transporting Chloe and Adonis to the capital. In the capital city, the Emperor steps forward without his crown, wanting to address his people as a fellow human rather than their ruler. He shares a history of the kingdom, explaining how they have always relied on magic, particularly from witches, to protect them during natural disasters and plagues. Over time, this dependence has led to a deep reverence for witches, but also a fear of their powerful magic, which seemed superior to human ability. The Emperor finds this inequality unjust and questions whether the people should have to submit to witches and beg for their assistance. He asserts that humans should be able to live with their dignity intact. The Emperor goes on to highlight the various technological advancements that humans have achieved, demonstrating that they are not as powerless as witches may have thought. He emphasizes that even without magic, humans have learned to manipulate and control the natural world using their own strength. Inspired by his words, the Emperor rallies the people, declaring that the time has come to rid the kingdom of witches and prove that humans are the ultimate rulers. This passionate speech brings joy to the crowd. However, their moment of celebration is interrupted by a sudden arrival. A bright light touches down, revealing the presence of Chloe and Adonis, who have been transported there. Chloe immediately recognizes the Emperor, while Adonis, fueled by anger, attempts to strike the Emperor using his magic and urges Chloe to escape. Unfortunately, he is quickly restrained by the guards. As Adonis grapples with the guards, Chloe threatens to use her ice magic to annihilate the humans if they don't release Adonis. She demands the Emperor to release Adonis. However, Chloe's magic suddenly fails due to a magic photon suppression device created by the Empire, rendering her powerless. The Emperor takes advantage of Chloe's vulnerability and forcibly removes her clothing. Shockingly, some people in the crowd begin taking photographs of her. Adonis, overwhelmed with anger and desperation, attempts to come to Chloe's aid but is held back further. Seeing Adonis's reaction, the Emperor orders the guards to kill him to protect him from any potential retaliation by Chloe. Desperate to save Adonis, Chloe falsely claims that she had kidnapped him and made him her slave. She pleads with the Emperor to do as he pleases with her but to spare Adonis's life. Adonis tries one last time to use his magic, but it fails him, leaving him in tears as he watches the Emperor prepare to execute Chloe. Just as the king is about to shoot Chloe, she expresses her gratitude to Adonis for everything they shared and is about to declare her love for him. However, the king shoots her in the head, and another guard fires multiple shots at her. Witnessing this brutal scene, Adonis cries out loudly, reflecting on the happiness they had experienced together. The people in the crowd rejoice upon seeing Chloe killed, and one of the guard beheads her, the king displaying her severed head as a symbol of their perceived victory over the witches. As the story unfolds, it becomes evident that the failure to heed God's advice about fostering friendship between humans and witches may lead to destruction for the kingdom. 10 years later, in an internment camp within the Redia Empire, many young girls find themselves confined, their necks, hands, and legs bound by restraints. Inside this prison, two girls engage in a heated dispute over a piece of bread. The quarrel escalates until a girl named Doroko decides to step in, urging them to cease their altercation. In response, one of the feuding girls snatches the bread from Doroko's hand, suggesting she mind her own business next time. Nearby, another girl named Annie approaches Doroko, curious about why she intervened and had her food taken. Doroko, however, carries herself as a free-spirited individual and reassures Annie not to dwell on the matter. Moments later, the girls gather in a corner, and Annie begins discussing the ongoing conflicts within the Empire, fueled by the advanced technologies they possess. She laments how they were initially told that once the witches were gone, humanity would thrive, but it seems to have turned out quite differently. As she grows emotional and tears well up, Doroko endeavors to lighten the mood by narrating a humorous conversation between a stuffed doll of a knight and a girl prisoner. Her aim is to make Annie laugh, and it works. Soon after, some guards arrive at the camp, inquiring about prisoner number 218, which happens to be Anna's number. Initially, no one claims the number until Doroko stands up, falsely identifying herself as the owner by switching Anna's number with hers. Consequently, she is taken to a room where she encounters Chief Warden Palpal, the overseer of the camp. In this room, the warden instructs her to undress so they can thoroughly examine her body, emphasizing that this is to avoid offending the lord they serve. He explains that the people's blood tax supports the camp, making it necessary for her to contribute as well. Doroko is horrified to find lifeless bodies in the room, which she finds deeply unsettling. Suddenly, the warden approaches her and forcibly pulls her by the neck restraint. He mentions how the Redia Empire used its scientific prowess to defeat the witches. During this encounter, he attempts to take pictures with Doroko while dragging her along with the neck restraint, intending to send them to headquarters. Seizing an opportunity, Doroko bites the warden's finger, snatches his phone, and makes a run for it. While fleeing, she endeavors to use the phone to unlock the prison cells, but realizes it won't work unless she imitates the warden's voice. As she succeeds in opening all the prison doors, chaos ensues among the guards. Doroko reaches a heavily secured room with a massive door that only responds to her commands via the phone. Inside this room, she is astounded to discover a colossal machine. Her wonderment is cut short when guards apprehend her. Some of them attempt to lock the prison doors from within the control room, but the gigantic machine unexpectedly activates, shrouding the area in thick fog. When the fog dissipates, a young man is revealed, breaking free from the chains that had held him within the machine, his expression filled with anger and determination. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe our channel.